Alright, last section of Chapter 10, 10.3. We're going to do cash payments and other transactions. We have a bunch in this one, but nothing too earth-shattering or brand new for you. You'll be fine. Okay, so we have 5 transactions. Starting on October 12th, paid cash on account, then paid cash for a telephone bill, replenished our petty cash, and then on the 15th, partners withdrew cash for personal use and withdrew merchandise for personal use. Okay, so some of those you have seen before, some of them are brand new. So let's scroll down and take a look at our first one. Okay, so we are working on line number 13. Okay, right there. The rest should be filled in up to this point for sections 1 and 2. And starting on line number 13, we're going to have October 12th, where we paid cash on account to Design Fabrics. Okay, so if you remember, back on, let's see which line is that. One of the lines we bought it on account, we owed them money, so we're going to pay off some of that debt that we owe them. So you start out just like before by putting the date, October 12th. Okay, we are paying cash to pay off a debt that we have to them. So your account title is whoever's being paid. That's Design Fabrics. Our document number is going to be C323. And we're going to slide all the way over to the other side here. So let's get my column titles here so you can see those. Too far. Come on, Excel, let's cooperate. Okay, so first things first, we've got a cash credit because we were giving them money that we owed them. So our amount is $563, cash credit. Okay, it's anything dealing with a debt owed. We're looking at our accounts payable columns. Because we owe them less, we are putting money into that. So we have we have accounts payable debit, 563. And that one is done. Not too bad. Our second transaction on the 13th, we paid cash for our telephone bill. Nothing too crazy. We've done this before. Okay, and you'll remember from Accounting 1 that the telephone bill is a utility. So it's a utilities expense. Check 324 or C324. Okay, that was $85 to pay our phone bill. So it's a general debit, just like any other expense, and a cash credit, just like any other expense. That's nothing new. We've done those before, so that's good news. Okay, now the 14th. We did this last year towards the end, so you might be a little bit rusty on that, but we are replenishing our petty cash. Okay, so this is one of the big ones. So you put the date. All right, they told you replenish petty cash for office supplies, store supplies, advertising, and miscellaneous expenses. Okay, so what you do first is you list each of those accounts in the same order they gave it to you, just so it stays organized. So we have our supplies office, we have our supplies store, type today. Our next transaction, we had miscellaneous, or advertising and then miscellaneous. So advertising expense and miscellaneous expense. So you list each of those. You only put your document number on the first one, and this was C325. And now your general debit column is going to be the individual amounts for each one of those that they gave you. So it says office supplies was $82, store supplies was $43, advertising $94, and miscellaneous $90. Okay? And now the trick, when you're doing this, you put your total amount that you're replenishing your petty cash over in the cash credit. Okay, so go to your first line of the transaction, the 82. Slide over to cash credit. Then we're taking the total of all of those, which is 309. Right there. So there's 309. is going to split between these four accounts to make sure that our petty cash is back to where it should be for the next day of business. Okay, that's nothing new, but it's a little bit rusty because I haven't done it for a while. Totally understandable. Alright. Then on the 15th, we had our two partners, so we'll take a look at the first one. This guy, Stephen Caffaro. Withdrew, so it's a drawing account. C326. Okay, now he took out $400 of cash. Okay, so it's a general debit, cash credit. Okay, we've done that last year. That was almost every single example we had. Nothing new there. What is new is what the other partner does. Okay, so the other partner, Martinez, took out merchandise. Okay, so it's a different thing. It's M66. Okay, but it's no longer a cash withdrawal. So, first thing we do is set up exactly the same way to begin with. We have a general debit for the amount of $225. Okay, so that's the same. What's different is now we need to do a second line. Okay, because when we had merchandise, remember we worked with the purchases debit column. Okay, so your next line down is going to be purchases. Okay, that's what you say when they're taking merchandise out, because you purchased that merchandise. So taking that back out. So purchases, general credit. Okay, so here's the two differences. If they're withdrawing cash, just like before, it's a drawing, general debit, cash credit. If they're withdrawing merchandise, take the drawing account, still a general debit. Your second line is a general credit for purchases. Okay, so be careful when you look at that. Don't just look at it and assume that they're taking cash out. It could be the two. So keep that in mind. While you do that, practice with the on your own, which is set up the same way. We have an advertising expense, we have a petty cash, and we have some drawings. So take your time. You will be fine. That should end you on line 30. If you did it correct, you should get down to line number 30. Good luck.